Whoa, 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 what in tarnation does that title and thumbnail say? My God, I must be out of my damn mind, right? You can't get on YouTube and make bold statements like that. I don't know that that's a bold statement. It's a really terrible statement, right? You can't get on YouTube and make statements like that and then think you don't owe your viewers an explanation. So what are we talking about here? I hate my family. Oh my God. Well, I guess we better figure out what's going on with that. We're going to have to get to the bottom of this, aren't we, fellas? We're going to have to get to the bottom of this. So before I can explain to you what the hell I'm talking about, I have a huge thing to confess to you guys. Every one of you in my viewing audience, I have a confession that's going to shake you to the core. You're going to learn something about me that maybe you thought you were never, ever going to hear someone say in your life. And that confession is, I am an over-the-road truck driver. I know some of you might have been confused by that. I think most of you figured that out, but some people might be confused. Maybe they thought they were watching like an accountant's YouTube channel, or maybe nobody knew what I did. You know, maybe there were some people that had no idea what my job is. Why is he always standing in that plastic room all the time? What is it that he's doing? Why do I say all this? Why am I bringing all this up? I want to tell you guys that I'm obviously smart enough, and I've been around YouTube and the internet long enough to know when there is a troll comment happening, when somebody's just trying to get a reaction out of me, right? And I've been actually pretty good about just, you know, if it's just trolling, maybe trying to roll with it and take the joke sometimes. Sometimes if it goes too far, I push the little hide user button and go on about my day. But there is a particular question that keeps coming up over and over and over. And we got to talk about it, right? We got to talk about it. There are some people out there that are very confused by the fact that I never go home, that I'm never at my house, right? And that goes back to the confession I just made to you guys. I'm an over-the-road truck driver. I will clarify for those that don't know, there are a lot here that do know. That's why you're watching. You want to watch this crazy-ass trucker talk about whatever he's got going on in his world. But what that job entails is me basically living in this small box for extended periods of time, where I travel around the country delivering, I was going to say goods and services, but just the goods, just delivering the goods, no services provided in this truck most of the time, but drive around delivering the goods, right? And that requires me to travel the entire country and be away from my home for extended periods of time. And when I do that, in exchange, the people I move freight for give me money, and then I go do it all over again. I go somewhere else and I move freight to this other part of the country, and you just repeat process over and over and over again. That is inherently the job of being an over-the-road truck driver. You have to plan to never be home. So it always comes up, I think I said it earlier, that, you know, this guy must just hate his family, because why would he do what he does? So I want to talk about it. For those of you that had the pleasure or misfortune of being a subscriber to the old This Guy Trucks channel, you got to see what ended up being a colossal shit show, as I literally lost my mind right in front of all of you on the internet and was prone to outburst either on my community tab or in a video. Sometimes prone to drinking entirely too much and deciding to do a live stream and then yelling at everybody that said so much as like a minor thing that I disagreed with. That happened a lot. Jesus, what else happened? Just making poor decisions, all controlled by the absolute chaos that was going on in my brain, because a weird thing happened when a lot of people started paying attention to me. It fucked me up, right? It fucked me up. I talked about this in the 5,000 subscriber video, so I won't spend too much time on it. But basically, I went into this crazy downward spiral where everything went to hell on me, and rightfully so. Looking back on it, the way I was acting on YouTube, I deserved every fucking bit of it. But what ended up happening was I no longer owned a truck anymore. I put out constant whining videos about how much my life sucked while I was sitting on 80,000 subscribers and tens of millions of views. Boy, that sure is a rough life, isn't it, right? Obviously, if I had it all to do over again, I would do that a lot different. But you live and you learn, right? Well, which eventually led to me getting some sort of illness that forced me to leave the truck because I was just not getting better for went on for maybe close to 3 months, 2 months, 3 months before I was like, I can't handle it anymore. I turned in the lease truck that I was in and I went home and I tried to recover from being sick, which took a while. And then I tried to join the real world of going back into IT jobs, tech support, things like that. And what happened, as it turns out, a lot of normal jobs out there, just, you know, your normal run-of-the-mill jobs, they don't pay what trucking does, right? And my wife and I were scrambling to figure out how to survive. How are we going to make this work? We were both like constantly applying for better jobs, doing everything we can to, you know, save money. And it just was spiraling further and further out of control. I mean, maxing out all the credit cards, you know, just everything that could go wrong was going wrong. And we were just trying to fucking survive. And we, as adults, we devised a plan. All right? And I'm going to tell you the plan. Don't worry. I'm going to tell you the fucking plan, okay? I told her, hey, I feel a lot better now. I'm sure I haven't forgotten how to drive that truck. And we have to make a decision here because as much as I like sitting around the house, nobody was going to be sitting in the fucking house if we didn't come up with a solution. We were going to be out on our asses, right? That's just the reality. It was real fucking bad. So, my wife and I came up with this plan where I was going to get my ass back out in the truck, right? Not only was I going to get my ass back out in the truck, I was going to reboot the YouTube channel. And man, I was going to get out there and give it hell. And don't get me wrong, I've made a few missteps even in this last year. I've made a few bad decisions. It happens. Whether that be in the trucking world or on YouTube. I've made a few missteps here, even though I've learned my lesson, sometimes I still fuck up, right? That happens. But I told my wife, I said, okay, I'm going to do it. But I am sick to death of constantly trying to figure out how are we going to pay the bills? Like, how are we going to survive, right? So I told her I'm going to get out there. And every day I'm going to figure out how to get better, how to do better, how to provide better, you know, whether that be, you know, making more money with the truck or hopefully creating better videos that people enjoy. Because when I first came back on the road, all those videos are still there. I don't like them. I thought they were pretty boring now looking back on it, right? But I'm just going to figure out how to keep getting better and better and better. And I told my wife we're getting too old for this shit. So I am not stopping. I am not stopping this truck, or that was 4 trucks ago, you get the point, until we are finally stable again. And I'm going to get out there, and I'm going to give it hell. I'm going to give it everything I got, and I'll see you when I see you. Hold down the house for me, because, baby, we're going the fuck off. We're going to handle this shit, right? That's what we're going to do. And she said, it's going to suck. Probably not going to see you very often. She said, but you're right. We are getting too old to be dealing with this stuff, and we really, really got to figure our shit out. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is 2 adults sat down and had a conversation. I can't believe I have to say things like this sometimes, about how they could improve their situation. And once they found the solution on how to improve that situation, they said, we're going to get out there and we're going to give it hell. And we're going to rebuild everything, and we're going to do everything we can. And it sucks. I feel bad for a lot of people out there. This isn't meant to be like some sort of backhanded, like I'm shit talking you or anything like that. But a lot of people do unfortunately end up in bad relationships, in a relationship with a person that's kind of not on the same wavelength as they are. I'm not saying that person's a bad person. I'm just saying maybe they're not in the same place in life and they don't, understand how this person thinks like that, and they just can't fucking get it together, right? And when we come out of those bad relationships, it has a tendency sometimes to really fuck up our worldview and think that, like, all relationships are awful and all people are fucking terrible and I'm just going to be pissed off at the world instead. And unfortunately, in trucking, that is a very, very prominent thing, is that people are like not freaked out, but like just mad at the world, right? I can't tell you over the years that I've done YouTube videos how many comments I've gotten about my wife's definitely at home cheating on me. Definitely, right? She's definitely doing that. And she's gonna leave his ass any minute. She's definitely doing that, right? And I don't want to be a dick when I point this out. I don't. It's an unfortunate byproduct of being a trucker. And so many people's view of the world, but especially relationships, gets incredibly fucked up because of the shit we go through, while we think in our minds we're just trying to fucking provide, right? We're just trying to provide. And why are you breaking my heart right now, and I gotta lay in this sleeper and cry myself to sleep tonight? And don't act like we all haven't done it. Don't act like we all haven't. And then, because we have, you're lying if you said you haven't. Or you just started, it's your first week in trucking. By week 2, you'll be crying in the sleeper at some point. Trust me, it's going to happen. But, anyways. It used to be, guys, that you saw a person set some goals for themselves and then just grind their ass off to work towards those goals, right? And then you would say, look at that little go-getter over there just getting it done, right? And the internet is such a horrible place because you can communicate quickly all your shitty ideas to everyone. Don't act like I haven't done it, because I have, right? But, one thing I have learned from doing YouTube is a lot of times a shitty comment that I get from someone is just a motherfucker having a shitty time. And he might say something because it's kind of fun, I think, to like feel like you got one over on a YouTuber. I don't know why. It's not really my thing, but it's kind of fun to be like, yeah, I'm having a really shitty time, but I fucking told that motherfucker, didn't I? I sure did. But it's like you used to be considered like a hard worker and, like I said, like a go-getter. And then when people see you like chasing after that goal, and I mean, we've done well here, guys. We've done well. We're less than a year into this channel, almost 6,000 subscribers, and thank you guys so much. I mean, that's fucking awesome. We've obviously been chasing the goals and trying to get things done out here. But apparently you can't do that anymore. You can't work towards your goals, or somebody finds a reason like why you're a bad person, right? And it's fucking crazy to me because normally the people that are talking shit because you're working hard are also the same people that say, oh, millennials don't want to work. Millennials don't want to work. They're just lazy and they don't want to work. And that, honestly, is one of the most frustrating things that I've ever heard people say. When somebody says millennials don't want to work, that's just a person that really, I guess, really, really loves the sound of their own voice, and they were sitting there and they realized, oh God, I was sitting here and no sound was coming out of my mouth. And then the first thing that comes to mind, they go, millennials don't want to work. It just falls out of their mouth, right? It's kind of infuriating when people speak without any thought into what they're putting into things. And I'm not like the smartest person in the world by any means, but I try to stop and think about what I'm saying. Sometimes I fuck up. But it's like, it's such a silly statement. Of course millennials want to work. Have they do. Everybody wants to provide for themselves and provide for their families and, live indoors. That's a really cool thing. Maybe they have a certain car they want to buy and they want to work towards that goal. Everybody wants to do that. Have you seen the fucking job market these days? It's fucking garbage. It's terrible. Nobody wants to work in a shit job that has no rewards whatsoever. They give you a 30-cent raise every year if you're fucking lucky. That actually sounds like a lot. Let's get rid of that zero. They give you a 3-cent raise every year, and tell you should be fucking thankful. And then they're throwing a Friday pizza party. Only 2 slices, guys. How much pizza do you fucking need? And jobs are the most dull, god-awful, boring thing that has ever existed. Everybody is willing to work, though, if there's some sort of reward in it, right? And, then we get all these damn lectures. I know I'm off target, but it's what I'm thinking. We get all these damn lectures about, well, maybe if you guys just saved your money, budgeted a little bit, you do just fine. Okay, that's coming from someone that bought a house when houses cost $10,000. What the fuck are you talking to me about budgeting fucking money for? I mean, goddamn, jobs pay $19 an hour and houses cost $400,000. Of course nobody wants to work anymore. Why would you? Why would you? It doesn't make any fucking sense, right? And sure, you could move up in jobs, or you could do a lot of things, but this whole work system is heavily stacked against you. It obviously is. And you can't even say, hey, why don't you go get a CDL, be a truck driver, you'll make a lot more money. Because as true as that might be right now, we are witnessing too many motherfuckers in trucks right now. That's what we're seeing. There's too many motherfuckers out here. And that's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. So it's like we continue to run out of options for how to provide for ourselves, and that's how we all end up here on some sort of social media, right? That everybody's making a TikTok or a whatever it is on Instagram, and I think like Facebook monetizes videos, and there's Twitch, and there's everybody wants to have a social media influence because it's like our last fucking hope for any kind of like reasonable standard of living, I guess, because jobs don't pay dick. That's what I'm saying. That's what the fuck I'm trying to tell you. Anyways, kind of trying to collect my thoughts because I had more I wanted to say on this. Give me a minute. Okay, I'm back. I remembered what I wanted to say. So, obviously, I'm very, very committed to these goals. There's some days where I can't even fathom the idea of putting out a video. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you guys a little something. I'm going to tell you a little something, okay? The last video, where I just complained about like my anxiety and all that whole scenario going through my head was causing me to have such a like mental block. I had no fucking clue what video to make, what to even talk about, and I couldn't figure it out. So I put out that video just complaining. That's what I did. And then it was like this immediate relief. The video went out, you guys watched it, you commented, all those things, and all of a sudden the ideas started pouring into my little soft brain again, and then I started getting ideas and all that stuff. But the point is, like, I'm not ashamed of the idea that I will do whatever it takes within reason to provide for my family. I'm not embarrassed by that even a little bit. And the reason I say within reason is because I also know my limitations, right? I know what I'm going to fuck up. I know what I'm not going to do well. A lot of people tell me I need to go local. Stop it. Stop telling me I need to go local. I know me way too well to go be a local driver. This time of year, guys, I live in Colorado. This time of year, I'm going to wake up in the morning and go, fuck that. It is cold outside of those blankets. I'm not going to work today. Oh yeah, I'll straight up stay home. I will. But if I'm in the truck already, out here on the road, I'll get up every day gladly and go to work. What the fuck else am I going to do? Sit around a truck stop? Wait in line to take a shit at the Loves? That's not what I'm going to do at all. I'm going to get my ass up and I'm going to go to work. And this is how my brain works, right? And I think that's okay to acknowledge that maybe we all think about life in a little bit different fucking way. I think that's okay. Anyways, I'm not embarrassed or ashamed that I'm like chasing these goals. And my dad, he's a at least a few years older than me, I would say. So he's kind of got some of those old sayings, right? And like I always tell him about like my plans and what I want to do and all that stuff. And my dad always says the thing that a lot of people always say. He says, you can't take that money with you when you go, son. And that's not to say I have any money, because I certainly don't. But what I'm trying to say is he listens to the goals I have, but then tells me, that I think what he's trying to tell me is there's more to life than just money. And you would think that is true, right? And as much as we all want that to be true, and we all know that to be true, the fact of the matter is we live in a system that is specifically designed to where we need the fucking money, right? So I would rather get my ass out in the truck for months at a time, if that's what it takes to keep building on what I'm doing, and make sure, that my kids have what they need, right? That's more important to me. Sometimes I go through my mental health struggles, but that's more important to me, is to make sure that they're doing well, right? And I understand completely, because 2 of my kids are grown and the other 2 almost there. And they are probably all feeling like, hey, my dad didn't spend a lot of time with us. And hey, I understand. It's a rough thing. It's a thing that they'll have to deal with. It's a thing that I'll have to live with forever, is that I missed my kids growing up. I will have to live with that for the rest of my life. But let's say I'm fucking right. Let's say I'm right. And I just keep on rolling and just keep finding ways to build and do better. Maybe when this old man is dead, I made it a little bit easier for my kids, because the world's a tough fucking place. So if I have to grind my life away in this truck, but I'll only do it if I'm making progress, right? I won't continue to do it and just spin my wheels and stay in the same fucking place. I refuse. I absolutely refuse. So on that point, I want to talk about, it does always get brought up also too that, once I signed this lease, and once I've signed any lease, that what I've done is put myself into slavery. You know what I like about words? I'm not the best at words, but you know what I really, really like about words is that they mean something. That's it. That's their whole function, is to mean something. So you can make sounds come out of your mouth, and then people hear it come into their ears, and then that's how communication works. One of the ways, the most efficient way, I would think. And I got to be honest, equating a lease purchase program to slavery is a little bit fucking crazy, because slavery was a really, really nasty, terrible thing. And this is maybe indentured servitude, maybe. That's possibility. Now, I'm not saying what I'm doing is smart. It entirely could be fucking stupid. I gotta find out myself. Well, but Josh, you've done this lease already and that lease. I know. I get it. Now let me find out about this lease, if you don't mind. Because I'm gonna do it anyways. I appreciate all the input, but I'm gonna do it anyways, right? But it's just fucking crazy. A lease and slavery are 2 completely different things. Do you think they had walk-away slavery? This is a walk-away lease. I'll park this bitch. That shit didn't exist in slavery, guys. You didn't have a guy just get pissed off and walk up to his owner, right? And say, you know what, fuck this, I've had enough. Because when you do that, that's when you hear something along the lines from some hillbilly go, well, I'll give you a 10-second head start, boy. And that guy starts running like his life depends on it, because it fucking does at this point, and just hauling ass. And then over the hill, here comes a bunch of other rednecks on horses. Yeah, on horseback, chasing him down. And they've all got a rope. Every one of them brought their own rope. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it's what it was. Right? It was a very, very dark time. Not a good thing at all. And this lease is nothing like slavery. Comparing the lease to slavery is like like getting into a particularly brutal pillow fight and then telling all your friends that you survived the Holocaust, right? Like, no, you don't understand what they did to us in there, man. One guy hit me in the stomach and I bent over, and the other guy hit me in the head with the pillow, and bro, you don't understand because you weren't there. It's fucking, it's just absolute crazy talk is what I'm trying to say. It's absolutely crazy talk. So I guess sort of to wrap it up, yes, I missed a lot of my family life. Unfortunately, I will continue to do so because I am not a very bright man, if you guys haven't figured that the fuck out yet, right? You know what I do know how to do? Drive a truck. Drive a fucking truck. That's what I know how to do. And that's what I know how to do that will provide for my family, right? I know how to do other things, but those things don't pay shit, right? I don't have any anxiety about traveling the country. I've done it so many fucking times. This, for good or for bad, is my home. This is what I do. And I've tried to walk away over and over. We all know it's just not going to fucking happen at this point, don't we? Yeah, we've all figured it out by now. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. None of this is done out of hatred for my family. That is fucking crazy. It is done out of love for my family. You know, to make sure, you know, they have what they need. And they have what they want even sometimes, which is pretty fucking cool. That's a cool thing to have. And it's unfortunate that my kids don't see me very often. And I hope they don't feel like, you know, I just bailed on them and didn't want to see them. But I think for the most part, they get it. The old man gets out there and he goes to work. We get to keep the heat and the lights on at the house. Sounds good. I didn't make the fucking system, guys. Because if I was the one building the way the world works, I probably wouldn't have done it this way. But this is what we all live in. And I mean this. I totally mean this. I'm once again not trying to take a shot at anyone. My sympathies to the truck drivers that are so beat down by life that everything can be taken as a negative thing. There are a lot of negative fucking things out here. They're all over my videos, me bitching all the time. There absolutely are. But there are absolutely some positives that come out of doing this. And sometimes you got to hold on to those few fucking positive things with all you got, with all your fucking might, and just find a way to keep on rolling. So, sorry to the people that have been beat down by life, because I'm sure that's the path I'm on to. Absolutely no doubt about it. That's where I'm going to. I'm almost a grumpy old man. I will soon be an angry old man. And that's just the way the trucking world works. See you guys.